4, 5s. I mean,
5, 4, 5, nigga.
5, 4, 3, 2. Wait, which camera am I looking at? Because I'm usually sitting over there. Yours? All right. Let me tween this way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, marvelous. Okay.
That's why I can say F you to everybody, because we own our show.
I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur. And he waiting on me, got umbrella in his hands and my name in the seats. No gift, baby, no thanks, no chinchillas, baby. So what happened to Frank? No phone calls, transactions hand in hand. Give the drugs to Rick, the money to Benny Banks. Talk to Craze and he talks to me. Keep my business out the streets. It's the ART.
We're live on YouTube now. Craze is here, Jayla's here, Jencarlos here. So if there would be no COVID, we would be in the monkey room and you would be having whatever drink you'd want, right? During the interview. And also we allow our guests to eat also, because some of them just they're coming from one shoot to do another shoot to do the interview. I think Nueva York was the first one. He's a comedian.
Yo con lo comelón que soy. And you don't got to tell me, I mean, hey, that sounds like a good time to me, bro. I was telling you, the last time that I did that, the last time we did a podcast in a bar, I mean, I don't even remember what we talked about, to be honest with you.
Realistically, that's how they caught me as a co-host, because they brought me on as a guest. And then
really?
They gave me food, they gave me drinks. So they're like, hey, Jay, like, ya, ahí se acabó la historia.
You were like, me quedé. Let's do something.
We needed a female co-host, and we conned her to come on to our show.
She was amazing the first time she was on. But some of our best episodes are when Rick gets drunk. I love drunk Rick. He's the best.
I bet. That's great. That's awesome, man.
Welcome to our podcast / show. Thank you for coming on. For the people who don't know, the audience that don't know, the other millions that do not follow you on Instagram, who is Jencarlos? I know you're a singer, songwriter, and an actor. Which one of the three do you feel like, like I do podcasting and I do writing and I'm very passionate about podcasting. Which one of those?
Sure. Bro, you know what? Like, if I had to describe myself, because those are things I do, but I'm a storyteller, bro. I've learned to identify myself that way. Like I love storytelling, whether it's at a barbecue in the backyard, whether it's with my friends, families. I'm always the one trying to tell jokes. 9 out of 10 horrible, but I'll do it. I'll give it a go. I always like the hosting, and art to me is that, bro. It's expressing the way you think, and through storytelling, whether it's with a melody, whether it's with music, whether it's through a character. And that's what I love to do, bro. I love to tell stories that bring people together in one way, shape, or form. So that's like the word I would use to describe myself. I was first and foremost a musician. That's what I did, my childhood growing up. Actually, in this backyard, because I'm here in Miami, spending some time with my old folks. This was the first time I ever sang, was back there in that corner. It didn't even look like that. And this was full of people right over here. And bro, I sang Juliana que mala eres. I sang I sang Amor Eterno, because my grandma, rest in peace, loved that song. A few other songs, man, and it was a defining moment for me. I was about 6, 7 years old, and my dad says that I told him the next day that I wanted to feel that for the rest of my life. And bro, I got some parents, man, that even though they didn't know shit about the music industry or the entertainment industry, bro, my dad, when he would find out that a neighbor was gonna throw a party, he'd help me, prepare me, get a little show together, and go knock on their door, and he'd be like, yo, my son sings, we could do the entertainment for you guys. I know you're throwing a party. And literally I went from backyard to backyard in this neighborhood singing, and that's how I caught my break. That's how I started.
I know I know that a lot of people try, especially like as Latinos, I feel like we grow up doing everything. I think even like when you're a mom, tú haces mil cosas. When you're a dad, you're a handyman, you're a mechanic, you cook, you clean, you do a little bit of everything. And in our industry, you know, everybody kind of wants to put you in that box. And like you said, like I do a little bit of everything. But not only do you do a little bit of everything, I've seen you intertwine those works of art together, which is really hard when they want it. Like, no, you should only be an actor. Like, you shouldn't sing and act at the same time or on the same show or in the same, you know. How have you managed to transition with that?
I mean, that's a good question. I honestly, like, I feel like there's a saying in Spanish that says, "El que mucho abarca, poco aprieta." Like, the who tries to, you know, reach for too much ends up grabbing nothing, right? So I try to prioritize. I understand that music and acting are two forms of art that I love very, very much, that I put my 200% into. And I try to prioritize. I try to take it one project at a time, you know, and really, really follow my passion. When you're passionate about something, you could do it 24 hours a day and you don't get tired. You don't get tired. You tienes la gana, you know what I'm saying? That's why when you said a mom, a dad, of course, because it's the love you have for your family. The love makes you capable of anything, you know? So I love what I do so much that it really, it rarely does it fall on my shoulders as a weight or something that I got to, like, I have to do. No, I want to do it. So that allows me a lot to you know, and one thing I've learned too, that artists, sometimes we make the mistake of just going with our gut and being emotional. I put more logic behind my decision making, you know, and understood that, all right, well, if I know that I got a kid's book in the works, but it's not going to come out for another 4 or 5 years, well, then this Netflix show that's a family show for kids, it makes sense to do now. Because one way or another, those projects, they start opening doors to those audiences that you know you're going to slowly but surely intertwine with or have a project for. So, you know, mapping out the blueprint of what I would want my career to be in the next 5 years, and then making decisions based on those things, you know, and surrounding myself with visionaries and great people that help me do it.
So you mentioned you started very early on with the support from your family. Cubano.
Yeah. Sure.
Rick, I'm gonna need you to speak up, Rick. You like got quiet this episode. ¿Qué está pasando aquí?
Yeah, look, nah.
Oh, it's just, I told him before the interview, I am a fan of this dude.
Oh, bro.
Fan.
The respect.
Not many guys would admit that, you know, but I do, you know. Very proud that you're Latino and you do what you do. What was your first big break?
Yo, my first big break, I'd have to tell you that it was, you know, meeting Rudy Perez. Rudy was the producer of Amor Quédate, of my first album. That's the main producer that really, you know, discovered me really and said, I believe in this kid. So I remember that happened because of a commercial I did for Ford. My boy was working in the guy. I would always be David Miranda. Bro, his dad really. I started recording with him, and then him and I became close. And he was working for an agency that did music for brands. And he hits me up one day. I was like 15 years old this time. And David goes, "Yo, Jay, they're looking for a song for Ford. They just wanted to say Ford a lot, this and that. They wanted in English and in Spanish. See what you do." And I wrote a song called Write It Like a Ford. That was like the slogan. Well, bro, long story short, they end up picking the song. They end up making me the face of the campaign. They end up grabbing the song title and making it the slogan of the company for the next 10 years. So it was a crazy thing. But I mentioned that because it was through that campaign that I became the voice of a foundation. And in that foundation, my dad had been, by the way, side note, sending for an entire year packages to Rudy. And Rudy never answered my dad, bro. My dad would send him a package every month. Check out my kid, nothing. And then this foundation did a gala at the end of the year. They always do this big gala. And they were giving these tables that were like $25K, $50K. And bro, I'm from Hialeah. Like there's no way that we ever even, like, at that moment I was like, oh my God, those tables are like, what, who sits there? Like, who does that, you know? And they were like, we'll give you guys a table, you know, as a token of our appreciation for being a voice for the foundation. And I sit down with my dad and I go, bro, what are we gonna do? Like, we're gonna take away $25K from this cause just to sit there and dine all night? No, let's give them the table. Let's go, let's do our job, and let's come home and eat with the family. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And guess who they give the table to, bro? Rudy Perez. So Rudy ends up getting the table that we give them. And then now Rudy, the guy we're trying to reach, is sitting down and about to watch me perform for an hour and a half, bro. And it was one of the most magical moments of my life, because I remember my dad going backstage and telling me, guess who's out there? Rudy. And he puts both of his hands on my face, kisses my forehead, and he goes, go do what you do. So I was fired up. So I went out there and I was in the moment, man. And then Rudy, my dad went to the table and Rudy asked my dad, he was like, what are you guys doing Monday? And then my dad was like, whatever you tell me. And he's like, come to the studio. And the rest is history, bro. We did the first album, we did Amor Quédate. And that night, you know, I could tell you that it's when I did Más Sabe el Diablo, or when I had this hit show, or when I had my first #1 on Billboard, or this and that. But frankly, it was that night to me, bro. That night was one of my biggest breaks, for sure.
Más Sabe el Diablo, the point in time where you were on every Spanish person's television in that point. And it was a novela. I used to watch novela. Every Latino that grew up in a household saw it. It's what you had to watch from 7 to 10. The 3 time slots that had 3 different novelas on. Yeah. You were also able to do music at that point in time, and that was the song on it. How do you go from a Spanish market to an English market? And that's very hard, because sometimes it's not many avenues for us Latinos.
For sure. The thing is, man, I'm part of that 200% generation to me. You know, like I'm 100% American. I was born and raised in this country. You know, I was born and raised in Miami, but I'm 100% Latino. For me, it's not a 50-50 thing. You know, I feel like people like us, we really, we can swim in both of those waters. You know, my career, despite the fact that I was born here, and despite the fact that English is my first language, my entire career in the beginning was in Spanish. And I thank God that it went down that way, because it gave me an opportunity to really get to know, like, what the culture of, what the fabric of our culture is made of, bro. The diversity in the Latino community, you know, to have had the opportunity to live in Mexico for 6 months, to basically Puerto Rico, which is like a second home to me, Dominican Republic, which yo tengo familia en Bonao, in Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, like really all around Latin America. We got the chance to travel, tour, and it gave me an understanding of what our people are about, bro. I knew that there was always going to be a moment. I didn't know when, but I just knew that when the opportunity came about for me to open doors for my career in the Anglo market, something told me it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when, you know. And nothing. We get the call one day. I was in Mexico. I remember I was coming from Mexico. We were doing a show over there, and I get here and I get a call from Eva Longoria, and she's like, "Hey, is this Jencarlos?" I say, "Hey, what's up? Who's this?" It's like, "Oh, it's Eva." I go, "Eva?" She's like, "Eva Longoria," and I was like, "Oh, what's up, Eva?" Like,
be careful with it. Oh, yeah. How's it going?
Oh, Eva, yeah, of course. What's up? So she lets me know about the project that she was doing with NBC at that time, man, and they just happened to be looking for someone that was from Miami, that was a singer and an actor, that had a background in telenovelas. I was like, come on. Like, I didn't even, it wasn't fair. I felt like I had been preparing without knowing for that role, like my entire career. So it was a little bit of a no-brainer, but I still had to audition. I still had to, knock it out the park. Thankfully, they liked what they saw. And that project was my first thing on American television. And Eva's been a godmother to me, bro. She's my sister. She's my mentor. She's been someone that believes in us hardcore. We did Grand Hotel in 2019 on ABC, which we had a guest appearance on. She was directing and producing that show as well. So I'm just super grateful to have friends like that, man. And hard work at the end of the day, bro. Hard work, I promise you. Hard work and good intentions and loyalty are the ingredients that have allowed me to open those doors, bro. Being ready for the moment. Nobody's going to give you an opportunity just because you got a pretty face. Nobody's going to give you an opportunity just because, you're the friend of or you're the cousin of. Yeah, those things happen, but that does not guarantee you longevity. And that does not guarantee you that you're going to keep that place, So, yeah, man, that was a transition that we weren't expecting, but it just God-given, bro. God-given.
I love the fact that you mentioned, it's a matter of timing, when. But as Latinos, you also mentioned earlier that we're very passionate. So passion and waiting and patience they're not really close cousins, to say the least.
Sure.
So what are some things, or maybe advice, or some things that you were doing para mantener esa paciencia, cool, maybe you couldn't work on English projects, but like you said before, you were writing something, you were prepping for something. And what were those things, or what was that thing that helped with that patience?
I think the way my mind is programmed, because that's such a good point. And by the way, I still struggle, and I'm still working on that patience thing, because yo quiero todo para allá. O sea, you know how we are, like, let's go. But definitely patience. I mean, it is an asset. It's a huge asset. I think what helped me though, and what continues to help me, is that the way that I'm wired, the way that I'm programmed is like, if I have something that I gotta do, like for example, this interview, we got this interview right now at 8. Even if I have one at 9, like, I don't think about the interview at 9 until this interview is done, until I did my job, until I gave my 200% to what I committed to, you know what I'm saying? So when I commit to something, I just laser focus on that something, because my main priority is to do that to the best of my abilities, to do that one scene. I know I got another scene after this, but right now my focus is this scene right here. So that has helped me, to learn how to prioritize and really do things in a timely fashion, when it comes to that. But trust me, patience, you're right. For us Latinos, it's a challenge.
What you just described, there's a documentary on Michael Jordan. And the reason that a lot of sports writers say that he was able to be as great as he was not his talent or the way he worked. It was his ability. And I think this is something that the Buddhists practice, his ability to stay in the moment. And that's basically what you're talking about right now. And I think we, as human beings, don't think of how important that is.
Big time.
So I'm glad that you said that. So yeah, Jordan was like that. Not to say you're Jordan, but
take that.
What you're describing, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's a great.
I mean, it's a great analogy. I'm just saying.
Craze.
And I think Kobe was.
This might be better than Drunk Rick. This is so much
Kobe,
better.
Let me tell you, I saw The Last Dance.
The same way. It's just something that great people have in their mind. The ability
Amen, brother. 1,000%.
Moment.
Have you guys seen The Last Dance?
Oh, I have.
I haven't seen that.
Fantastic.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, you got to see that. You got to see that. Like,
not really a sports,
Crazy more like artistic drawing.
Fuck with sports. I gotta be honest.
I'm big on sports. Like, I am obsessed with sports. But I'm telling you, I always had respect for Jordan, but after seeing his just killer mentality, bro, his mindset was up like on another level. And I just saw it. One of my favorite Jordan phrases is, I never lost a game. I just ran out of time. I mean, come on. That phrase right there, I carry that phrase with me, bro, everywhere, bro.
Absolutely. What other things? Go ahead, Rick.
No, just what you said specifically. I'm a big fan of watching other people on interviews because you get to see a little bit of the personality. And what you said there just gives you an insight of the type of person that you are. And that's a great piece of advice. The ability to stay in the moment. Because when you're doing something, you're not at it 100%. You know? I just became a dad, let's say I'm making coffee. I'm making coffee, but I'm not paying attention to the coffee. I'm also worried about my son.
Sure.
The ability to stay at the task and in the moment, it's something that's overlooked. But it's very crucial.
I agree with you, man. I couldn't agree more, bro. I couldn't agree more. Congratulations on being a dad, by the way.
Thank you.
6 weeks, bro, right?
6 weeks, bro. Oof.
I was just saying it as an example. But yes. And documentary.
So you're fresh in, bro. Yeah. Hi, Papa.
I had to pause my podcast for a while. I wanted to give it some time before, I felt like I was comfortable enough to continue. So here we are.
Of course. Well, get ready, bro. You got some stuff coming, bro. 6 weeks is.
It's nothing. I know, but
just getting started.
It's enjoy. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
That's awesome, bro.
So Jayla, you were gonna say?
Yeah, no. I mean, I want to, touch base on your latest project. Obviously, we just dropped part 2 of Ashley Garcia, which it's been amazing. I love. I've had so many, I've cried, I've laughed, I love because there's so much relatability. This is not typical. You have a Theo, rather, a young Theo, a modern day young Theo at that. Bien enamorado, que le gustan las cosas, bien vestido, tu trabajito, he has his thing. But at the same time, now he has this genius in his home, and now he has to, in a way, okay, her mom doesn't trust me. It happens like that, and all this stuff. So how's that kind of been going? Because you guys dropped part 1, which was great, and then part 2, I left, I'm like, man, wait, what? What's going on here?
Crazy. Part 2, thank you for everything you said right now, by the way, Jayla, because those are the reasons why, why I was excited about being a part of this project. I feel like all the representation Latinos have, it's all good. It's all great because at the end of the day, we're hospitable. Those are attributes of our culture that I also respect and love. Like when I see the waiter or the waitress or the dude mowing the lawn, we should be proud of those jobs. You know what I'm saying? We should be proud of the Latinos that we have in the workspace, in those workspaces, doing the hard labor and all that stuff. I take pride as a Latino in that stuff. But also we got Latinos killing it in other fields too, in science, in medicine, and we just need more representation that kind of tells the whole story of who our community is made up of and what we're capable of. So, and I think this story gives that. The story gives that. We're talking about a 15-year-old girl, Mexican-American, that has 2 PhDs. And her main focus is, I want to build robots for NASA. That's her goal in life, So I was excited for every other little girl watching, this show saying, "Oh, that sounds cool. I want to do that too." Raising the bar in that way. And then telling true stories through the dynamics that you were saying, the dynamic between me and Paulina, where Theo Victor and Ashley, she teaches him how to be the adult, responsible adult, because he loves her so much that, he just goes above and beyond for her and wants to be the best role model he can be. And he gives her an opportunity to just be a kid, that's cool. It's great that you're studying. It's great that you're focused, but you're 15, enjoy life. Everybody gets so caught up on the final destination. Everybody says, "Oh, I gotta get to Z. I gotta get to Z. I gotta get to Z." But when you get to Z, they ask you to say the ABCs, and you can't remember them because you didn't stop and maybe went into that bar, had a drink with a friend. You didn't stop and talk to that stranger that could have offered you some incredible advice. You didn't stop and look at that sunset. The journey to the final destination is where the real success lies, I feel. So I think that he gives her an opportunity to understand that. And that dynamic between the two of them is just magical. It's magical. Credit to the writers, to the entire staff. Seth Curlin, bro, one of the main writers on Friends, which is one of the most iconic shows in the world. David Kendall created Boy Meets World. I mean, I grew up on Corey and Topanga, bro. I grew up watching that. So to work with these animals, to these beasts in the comedy space, Mario Lopez being our executive producer, which I got a lot of respect for, and we've become like brothers. It's just a real special group that genuinely cares about our culture.
And I love that you guys drop subtle little cultural hints. Seeing you and Paulina sing together, not only when you guys did that on the show, but you guys did the snippets for social media, was phenomenal. I love seeing little things like, I'm in radio, so for me, seeing Piolin's radio show on a Mexican t-shirt on Tad's character was like, for me, just that little, like the hints you guys are dropping of like huge Latino-ism is really cool to see on camera. I got the chills saying it because it's really cool to see on camera.
Hey man, it is legit. It is legit. Like, we got two writers, and they're as American as it gets. As American as it gets. And one of the first meetings that I had with them, they were so genuinely interested in getting to know as much as they could about our culture. And I sensed that from them. These are two good-hearted dudes that really, created a diverse team around them, that really did their homework, really did their research. The Quinceañera episode was super special to me because I grew up singing in quinceañeras, and it's a huge stamp in our culture. So I feel proud. I feel proud. And the second part is my favorite. Like, my second part is better than the first part. I'm probably not even supposed to say that, but I feel that. Yeah.
So what's next?
Right now with this whole situation, I feel like I've taken this time, this pandemic, to really. I'm the type of person that, to me, there's two types of people in the world: the ones that cry and the ones that sell tissues. So it's like, I'm in the tissue selling business. Okay, I'm like, when these things happen, I always seem to, like, my mind says, okay, how can I use this to my favor? All right, I believe we were put on this earth to win. We weren't brought here after all the odds we have to overcome to even get here to begin with, to suffer. I believe we were brought here with our differences and all, different circumstances. We were brought here to win. It's just the mind. That's all it comes down to. It's your perspective on life that puts you in a position to win or not, even when your back's against the wall. And I feel like this pandemic has been an opportunity, disguised as tragedy, for us to work on other things, refocus, readjust. And I've been working a lot on myself, doing some introspection, spending time with my family, healing. To be honest with y'all, I got family issues, and we really took this time to, we're already here. So, like, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like, come on, really? Like, let's just let it out. Why do you feel that way? I'm going to tell you how I feel that way, but I hate you for doing this and that and that. And we've really taken this time to talk about issues that we had not talked about in a long time, that were super uncomfortable, eating at us, and I think that when you take the time to make those adjustments, and you make your personal life your biggest project, I believe that creates so much more space and a much more solid ground to build everything else around. Our industry is obviously taking a hit. I can't even imagine the families that depend on that little street corner to sell fruit, to sell this, to provide for their families, and local business owners. I think about them all the time, to be honest with y'all. I hope that this gets better. But meanwhile, we just got to try and make the best of it. And that's where I've been right now. My production company, which I have with my brother, we've been more creative than ever, writing concepts for talk shows, for short format concepts. I've been in and out of the studio last 3-4 days. I've been in the studio till 4:35 in the morning, making new music. We got a new release soon. We launched Water, which came out not too long ago, which I'm super proud of. Yeah, and then we I'm super proud of that song. If y'all haven't checked out Water, please do and tell me what you think. And we got new music on the way. We should be dropping something soon before the end of this year for sure. So stay busy.
An album in its entirety before the end of the year, or just more singles?
Before the end of the year, single, but it is part of a bigger project. I'm in a headspace where I want to put a body of work together that that really makes a statement that stands for something. I want to, because that's what the thing. I've been doing singles because I haven't found, or let me rephrase, there's so much going on that it's hard to sometimes pick. I want it to be about this. And then if you don't have the ability to pick something and you try to talk about everything, the message gets, a little shaky. It gets lost in translation. So I've wanted to choose and pick my battles and really pick that something, that one thing that drives me enough and makes me passionate enough to make a whole body of work around it. So I've been on that frequency.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like to me that you're ready to do a double album. One in English, one in English, one in Spanish, with your American culture and your Latino culture blended in. Obviously the Spanish side, you could do salsa, you could do balada, change it up a little bit, and then the English side. So it sounds like a double album to me. That's what it sounds like.
Bro, let me tell you, that's a brilliant idea. I'm not even playing right now. You might have just carved the path for me to. If I decide to do that double album, I'm gonna bring you on board. I'm gonna bring you on board as an A&R, bro.
We gotta do exclusives. Gotta come through here. We got the whole setup. We got a whole production team. We help. We all good. Ahí vamos.
Let's go.
I love it.
It's actually, I did the same thing during quarantine, and I like to ask people like how they're doing mentally, and what they've been doing during it, and healing and creative. As far as the creative space, you mentioned doing like you're working on treatments and short story and a talk show. Would you writing a movie or a talk show be in the future?
For sure. Bro, I love writing. It's something that I've always done. I usually did it through music, but I love ideas, and I'm a big fan of stories, human stories. And bro, my life, like the way I live just sets me up to live the craziest things, bro. Craziest things. There is never a dull moment in my life, bro. I promise you that. And I come across these stories and these experiences and these circumstances that I just, when you view them from a creative perspective and say, wow, this is a movie, this is a series, this is that. It really is. I've poured a lot of thought and a lot of time into writing out concepts. I don't talk about it because I have a project that an animation I've been working on for 6 years. A series that we've been developing for 4. So. And just now we secured the funding for the development of it. And just a year ago, we finally found the animation house to partner up with and bring them on board. So when I put something into writing, I know that, that most of the things, these are things I want to see through. But with those types of projects, it really, some of them take time. So that's why I don't talk about it much, but definitely, man, definitely it's something that I look forward to, and right now as a producer, but as a writer, the writer of a film or the writer of a series is something that later on in my career, I'm definitely going to dedicate my time to. Something I want to do.
I appreciate you sharing 2 different things. I think one is really important. I know, we get told, oh, we can't share too much, or mal de ojo, or something here, something there, whatever it may be. But I think it is important to.
And the ojo's real, by the way. Don't.
But I think it's very important to still remind people that do these things, these projects. You as an artist, as an actor, as a person, like it didn't happen overnight. You put years, you put time, you put dedication, and like you said, not only that, but you have your personal life, you have your family, and Latino families are just demanding in general, and you talking even about breaking those cycles. you know, those generational cycles, sitting down and having those hard conversations, especially in times like these, is very admirable. So I just, congratulations on that, because not only doing what you do and your social media and all your fans and this and that, you know, you're still finding that balance.
Straight up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
About things that you said. First of all, how many quinceañeras have you been in? I can speak for myself. You know, I've been in 2. I know Rick probably got at least one more than I did.
I think like 4. I think 4. Maybe I've done 4.
Guys, yeah. When I tell you this, you're gonna think it's a lie. You're gonna think it's a lie. But when I tell you hundreds, I mean hundreds. Hundreds.
Respect that.
I did, bro. We used to do when things were like hot. Like when I was 14, I thought I was killing it. We were doing 2 quinceañeras on Friday and 2 quinceañeras on Saturday, and it was every weekend, bro. But I didn't even have my childhood was that, you know, and we were making money for the family and really had something going. And my dad's a businessman and he's a smart dude, so he would always find opportunities here and there. But I did hundreds. The first time I leave Miami to sing somewhere else was Dominican Republic, and it's because a travel agency did a poll. They were doing a quinceañera experience, and all the girls and their families that were contracting them for the quinceañera experience to go to Punta Cana, they did a poll and they asked what artist they would like to do the show, and I wasn't even in the poll. They put me in the poll. Like they were like, who is this name that people are telling us to hire? Like, who is this? And it was because all the locals that they were getting, you know, from word to mouth, were saying, yo, this guy, and then we get the call, and we end up being a part of this cruise experience where I was now all my summers from 15 to like I was 17, 18, I had a residency at this hotel where I would perform for the quinceañeras. So I did, bro, my experience in quinceañeras is extensive, my friends. So.
Damn. You need to write
By the way, hold up. Let me rephrase that. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. I mean the parties. I don't mean like. I mean like the quinceañera parties. Okay. I just want to make sure because that sounded a little creepy.
I think that's a dope basis for like.
It's like 27 dresses, like the bridesmaid one, where she did.
Yeah,
exactly.
You could do the modern day version of the wedding singer.
The wedding singer, the quinceañera singer. Of course, we're on the same page because we've talked about that already a ton of times. I was like, yo, the quinceañera singer needs to happen. The quinceañera singer needs to happen.
The quinceañera singer.
My question is, like, I asked one of our guests before too. You know, you are bros with Mario Lopez, and like his skincare routine gotta be like top tier. And like,
natural craze.
I've seen some of your filmography. You know what I'm saying? Skincare seems to be like an important part of this game. And I asked Jonathan, shout out. You know, he put me on to a few tips. I'm incorporating.
Jonathan Fernandez, the makeup artist. Yeah.
Sure. But I was wondering, you know, that's in terms of being a bro with somebody, to have access to a skincare routine. Like if Rick was Mario Lopez, I would definitely want to know, bro, how you keep it like this. So please.
I wish I was Mario Lopez.
Bro, listen, you guys gotta, this clip of the interview, you gotta send it to me. I'm gonna send it to Mario. All right, let's start by. I'm gonna try to get as many answers for you as possible, bro. Look,
we need answers.
I'm friends with him. I'm proud to be friends with him, but like we haven't gotten to like the level where we're close enough for me to just be like,
you're not ready.
Yo, let me know, like, what's up with the skin routine.
So
I haven't gotten it.
You're in. That's what it is. We just gave you your in to ask Mario Lopez what his skincare routine is.
1,000% you did.
Mario,
I can talk to him about it, and it's not gonna be weird. You know what I'm saying? I can talk to him about it and be like, bro, you know, I was doing this interview and they asked me for your skin routine. Can you help me? Can you give me some tips so I can give it to them? Of course I'm gonna use them. Of course I'm gonna use them.
Tell me, bro. Just tell him, like, yo, this weird ass dude from the Bronx. He was like, bro, what's Mario Lopez skincare?
Bro, but listen to me. You're not that weird. You're not that weird. I said that I haven't gotten to the friendship level of asking him, but I've definitely thought about it.
You thought about it.
I've definitely thought about it. I'm like, damn. What?
Mario and Pharrell Williams are just enigmas.
And Daddy Yankee. It's like they're like.
Oh, Daddy Yankee got younger.
Yeah, real Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee. It's like not even that's not just his skin. Even his head is shrinking. Like it's like he's regressing to a baby state. You know what I'm saying? It's the craziest thing in the world. Every time I see him, he looks like more like a newborn. Like Benjamin Button for sure.
For sure.
100%. I feel like one day we're gonna wake up, he's gonna be a baby again. Don't forget how to sing and everything. He's gonna have to relearn everything.
Sign him up for Menudo, the new one.
Yeah.
What?
Sign him up for the new Menudo.
Oh, he's trying to.
He's trying to. For real. Hey, they'd probably say yes.
To close out the show, we always do a segment called 3, 2, 1. We ask the guests to give us 3 things they've been watching, 2 things they've been listening to, and 1 thing that they do to keep their sanity. What are those 3, 2, 1 for you?
3 things I'm watching. Damn. I like sci-fi.
Sci-fi?
Yeah.
Really?
I like sci-fi stuff. I do, bro. I enjoy that stuff. The creativity, like it takes my mind to a different place, and as a creative. So I checked out the Umbrella Academy. I just recently started checking that out, which is pretty dope. Yeah, I know Vis-a-Vis is a series that I add, bro. Vis-a-Vis is legit, and they just came out with the last season that I have not checked out.
Oh,
bro.
Craze got at me because I kept telling him, "Yo, watch this show, Vis-a-Vis." It's called Locked Up on Netflix. I watched the Spanish version.
That is they're incredible, incredible. And to be honest with you, bro, let me think about something else that I'm watching, because those are the 2 things that really come to mind, because I've been in the studio so much that I haven't really been paying too much attention to what else is out there. I don't know if you guys have any suggestions so I can fill that one space.
You mentioned the Jordan doc that you watched recently.
For sure, but anything I haven't watched that maybe you guys have watched. You know what I'm saying?
We were talking about it. I know it's very random because you said you like sports, but The Undertaker has a really dope documentary about his career, which is very, very amazing.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And even hearing his voice, because you bring up different things. Like for me, I'm like radio voiceover and like all of that stuff. So hearing his real voice and then like growing up with the person in my head that I knew, it was amazing.
Well, that's what I mean, look, if talking about Mario, because we were talking about Mario, if that last project, I said Umbrella Academy, I said Vis-a-Vis, if I don't say Ashley Garcia, he's gonna be like, "Oh, you're a rookie. You slipped. You should have." That's a huge tip, bro. You're such a rookie. You slipped. You gotta put it in. But honestly, I saw a documentary. Now that you're talking about sports documentaries, the Hernandez brothers, Livan y El Duque.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I don't know if you guys have seen that documentary, but I saw it recently, and man,
it's the 30 on ESPN that you're talking about.
Yeah, but they actually have, the document, like a doc about it in Netflix, I believe. But I mean, if you search it, I'm sure it'll pop up. But it was great, man. It was great. It really gives you an inside look on what immigrants have to go through. And in the case of them, they're Cuban, but what both brothers had to go through to get to the major leagues, and the way it went down, it's such a moving jaw-dropping story, man, that I recommend it. It was really good.
I want to ask you real quick. I know you're gonna do the two things you're listening to, and the one thing that keeps you sane. You're from Miami. You're Cuban. Are you into MMA? They're two very big.
Am I into MMA?
Yeah, they're two big UFC stars. Son cubanos los dos. Masvidal.
Romero.
Yeah,
Of course.
Those two, for me, you put them on any card, I'll watch no matter what.
Me too. I'm so upset at the UFC because I genuinely feel that they've robbed Romero on more than one occasion, bro. Like I like as a fan, I'm emotional when it comes to sports. So like I vent, bro. I go on that UFC page and I'm like, bro, I go in, bro. I'm like, man, this guy can't catch a break, you know. But I love watching them fight, bro. I love watching them fight. Masvidal took that fight, you know, that last fight with, and by the way, Usman, I know Usman. Him and I have spoken directly, through IG. We voice notes. He's a stand-up guy, bro. He's a class act. Like I really got respect for the Nigerian Nightmare, bro. I love the dude. I got love for him. You know, Masvidal he didn't have enough time to prep for that fight. You know, that fight would have been much more competitive if he really would have prepped for it. But hey, we're only as big as we.
Competitive though. I think if you give Jorge 6-8 weeks, he has to drop 20 pounds in 6 days.
But
that's what I'm saying.
He took the opportunity and ran with it, and that's exactly what he needed to do.
Get another one. And that's what he knows how to deal with it.
Of course, because that's who he is. You know, he's gonna take. I mean, you wave a steak in front of a hungry dog. It's gonna like they're going for it. You know, like and Masvidal don't play. He does not play. Like that guy is the real deal. So I think that this loss, though, everything happens for a reason, bro. I really think that this loss is going to make him better. You know, I think that. You know, he had nothing to lose going into that fight if he lost it because everyone knew that he had to drop that amount of pounds in those days. If anything, he earned everyone's respect even more. And
5 rounds.
You know, yeah. And he's got to come back. I predict that he's going to come back, bro. Hungry. And I'm sure Usman will give him a. I'm sure Usman.
You think he'll run it back, Usman?
All right.
Yeah, I think Usman. Like I don't think Usman shies away from a challenge either. I think Usman will give him a rematch for sure.
I just had to throw that in there. I mean, my wife is Cuban, first of all. So, and one of my friends is Cuban. So, like when he's on, I always text him, and he's not really into sports. So he's like, "Yo, so the Cuban guy's fighting? Oh, I'll watch it." I'm like, yo, you got to watch this guy, Masvidal. It's not that he's Cuban. He's just nasty. And Romero is 40. Oh, we lost Jencarlos.
Okay.
Well, Romero is in his mid-40s and he fights like
Romero is the Adrian Peterson of the MMA. That guy's physical conditioning, what that guy's able to do is just insane at the age that he's at, man. Insane. Like I'm so impressed with that dude. It's like Mike Tyson. Watching Mike Tyson now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited about that. I would have obviously preferred it to be with Holyfield, but you know, I'm just excited to see that guy in the ring again, you know. And the images I saw of him training
on the video, yeah, he's still got it.
What do you really think about that fight, though? It's Roy Jones Jr. that he's going against, no?
I mean, that fight is that's a money fight, you know. Like that's just like, yeah. I mean, they know what it is. Like that's gonna bring them. Oh, I don't even want to think about how much that fight's gonna make.
I don't think Mike's thinking it's money grab, though. I think Mike's going in there to do work because I think Mike is hungry and he's got that.
Yeah.
from his video.
For sure.
He's showing his.
Bro, I don't really fuck with sports that much. I do like boxing a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I feel like I really love Mike, but I'm gonna go with Roy Jones Jr. on this one though. And I know that opinion, right? Because I love Mike and I really want him to have that kind of comeback. But I feel like Roy been in the ring, man. He been there. He hasn't. When was the last time Roy Jones Jr. was in a fight?
No, for sure. I mean, Roy fought 2 years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, but it was definitely much more recent than Mike. Now I just think it's about the game plan, bro. Because at the end of the day, it's about the strategy that you put together when you go into these type of fights. First of all, it's not going to be a 12-round match. Secondly, I wonder, considering their age, like what other, restrictions and limitations internally are there going to be between them, and I just think that if Mike tries to be explosive and go for the knockout from the get, then for sure, unless he gets a lucky hit in there, I think I think Roy can tire him out. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, bro. What I saw from Mike is scary.
Mike Tyson. I think.
I get it, bro. I get it, bro. But in the gym, I
don't think Roy's ever tasted power like Mike. And Mike, at whatever his age he is, the power is still there.
You see, because I hear what you're saying about Roy, and I hear what you're saying about Mike, but I think there's something. Look, Nate Diaz in the MMA has it. Masvidal has it. Like, for a fighter, there is an instinct, an animal instinct, that life or death, like that killer mindset mentality. We talked about it with Jordan. I just don't see that fury in Roy the way I see it in Mike. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when your back's against the wall in that ring, I just think Mike has that instinct where I really do believe he's willing to leave his life in that ring, bro. I believe that Mike is okay with dying that night in that ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, Roy's gonna go into it, he's gonna be like, I got things to do. Like, I want to go back to my family. This and this, bro. Mike is gonna go out there, bro. He's like, I'm dying tonight, and that's dangerous, bro. That's dangerous.
But that's what makes the big difference. That's where that power hit comes from. That's where that surprise knockout, like, that's where all that fierce and passion.
No, that shit is a great base. It's a great basis for a fucking like boxing movie. The story that you're telling is a great basis for a boxing movie, but conditioning is a real
conditioning takes. But have you seen? First of all, have you seen Mike's picture? This is what got me. He took a picture in some tidy whitey underwears, like some underwears. The guy is ripped, and he wasn't a year ago. So that tells me that switch.
Bro,
this went on.
The thing is, here's this. If Roy, I'm gonna say this with the most respect. Let's just be realistic. If Roy wins that fight, in a week, everybody forgets. If Mike Tyson wins that fight,
it'll go down in history.
The boxing organization can create an empire, another empire on Mike's comeback. So I just think there's so many vested interests. This is a business, bro. And we got to remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a street fight. No, this is a business. So I just feel like I feel Mike has a more of an edge and more in his favor to win this fight because of everything we've spoken about. Can Roy surprise us? Does Roy have the conditioning and the experience and whatnot to go in there and get the job done? Of course. But there's so many other factors, bro, that as fans we don't like to sit down and really see, that I feel Mike is gonna come out victorious from that fight, bro. I think so. Yeah.
So I cut you off in the 3-2-1 segment.
I know you got a little excited over there, Rick. We still gotta hear the two things he's listening to.
Yo, we all got excited.
One thing that's keeping him sane.
No, the thing is, he touched the MMA card. When he said MMA, that's it. It's game over.
That's my thing.
Yo, he's solidifying the president of like the Bromance fan club right now. Like he's like soliciting that right now.
We could be here all day. Those are things I love to talk about.
But
so
two things,
we said the three things we're watching. Mm-hmm. Two things I'm listening to, right?
Yeah.
I'm listening to a lot of Afrobeat. It's something that when Afrobeat started kind of coming up on the map, I would hear Afrobeat and I was like, oh, this sounds super familiar. Like as a Cuban, 80% of Cuba is African. The African influence in Cuba and in the Caribbean in general is just massive. So it was a rhythm that I saw Beyonce's project, The Lion King, one that she just put out. The rhythms in it. If you listen to the rhythm, I think it's track number 8 or toward the end. It's ba 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 la clave. Like she's got la clave. It's just the way they sonically design it. Obviously, is genius. It's genius because they give it a different sound. They give it a different feel. They give it that global appeal. But hey, you can dress it up any way you want. I know what that is. You know what I'm saying? And those influences they come from Latinos. They come from the motherland, from Africa, of course. So it was beautiful to see that project come together. So I've been listening to a lot of Afrobeat, and I've been listening to a lot of like old school songs too, like Smooth Operator. I've been listening to just a bunch of just like oldies like Casey and the Sunshine Band, just refreshing my influences and listening to old school salsa, listening to Chichi Peralta, listening to just a bunch of oldies as well.
I just played a voiceover to Careless Whisper. I was the voice of a cheesecake, but the song we picked for it was Careless Whisper. So it was really funny. I used to like a lot of the old school because I've been like in that vibe, like 80s vibe, like
yeah.
Old stuff.
Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of that. There's so much good music. So much good music in those areas.
And then the one thing keeping you sane through all of the madness.
Keeping me sane through all this madness that's going on in the world.
The one thing keeping me sane through this madness, man. Just I don't know, guys. There's few things keeping me sane. There's a few things keeping me sane. And I thought about the first 5, and I'm like, well, nope, I can't say that. Nope, I can't say that one either. No, I got to stay away from that one. I don't want to say that. I think definitely like my music is something that's keeping me sane. Like in all seriousness, even though it's number 6 on my list, it's definitely the.
Your honesty is keeping us sane, though.
The work ethic, my work ethic, like just being in that studio. That studio is therapy for me. So I've been I've been investing a lot of time into my music, man. So that's been keeping me sane. And the bubble too. Thank you, NBA, UFC. Thank you as well. And all those athletes, bro, that are, considering the circumstances and the pandemic and all that stuff. I know that some of them have families at high risk. I respect that, I respect that. They're putting themselves at risk. And at the end of the day, yeah, of course they make a check, but it's also for our entertainment too. We get to enjoy it. So yeah.
I want to thank you for coming on our podcast. I appreciate it 100%. Messages that you dropped about being in the moment and just always being determined. And if something's for you, it's for you. If you have one piece of advice to give an aspiring musician or actor, what would that be?
Man, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate that. I having good conversation with good people, that's what life is about to me. So I really enjoyed this. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And any piece of advice, something that helps me is like desperation is a man's enemy. When we fall into desperation, and there's many reasons why we can fall into desperation, especially in these times right now, but especially for someone that is not, sometimes we see where we are and we see it so far from where we want to be that, we get desperate. And when you make decisions in a desperate moment, nothing good ever comes out of that. You know what I'm saying? So it was what we were talking about at one point, is enjoying the journey. Even though you're far from your destination, you really gotta find a way to enjoy every step of it. Because if not, then you're constantly battling with fears and with the doubts and with the self-doubt and with all these things that contaminate your peace of mind and being in the moment, really being able to enjoy and soak it all in and saying, I am here. It's not that something good is coming. Something good is already here. I'm breathing, I'm alive, whatever it is, shit happens, but we're here. So I always tell myself that, and it helps me to navigate my decisions in calm waters, even when the storm, is at the door. So.
Sure.
Thanks, Ben, for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Water is available now on iTunes if you want to download it, and also on Netflix. He has a show. If you want to see it, Expanding the Universe, because everybody says Ashley Garcia. The name of the show is Expanding the Universe of Ashley Garcia. You can watch all 14 episodes on Netflix.
Yep, part 1 and 2. Don't miss it out. Again, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Buena suerte con todo and all the future projects. And don't forget to ask Mario about that skincare routine.
I'm gonna ask. I got you, bro. I love that. Hey, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one. All right, ciao.